Welcome to Jazz Cruise Conversations. I'm Hampton Callaway, and boy, we got a day today. We got Niki Harris, a true Renaissance woman with every in the book. She can sing, she can dance, she can act, she can choreograph. She's done everything with everybody. And now you're gonna hear her tell the scoop. So without further ado, let's welcome Niki Harris. Welcome, Niki.
I'm glad to be here. Hey, how you doing? I gotta put my glasses on so I can see. I'm wonderful.
Why, Miss Jones, you're beautiful.
Thank you, darling. I'm in my, get Christy Love white. You're under arrest, sucker.
That's right. Yes, you're looking gorgeous. And I'm so happy to all the people watching. Thank you so much for coming back this week. The tech gods are with us. Thank you so much. And so we have so many wonderful things to talk about. Now, Niki and I, for those of you, I don't know how many of you tuned in tonight, are Jazz Cruise lovers. But Niki and I have been bonding through the years on the Jazz Cruise, and we're so happy to be here virtually with you. We'll both be on the upcoming Jazz Cruise in January. Is that correct, darling?
That's what they tell me.
That's going to be the hang of hangs.
It's going to be fun. I love look, I think it should be mandatory that people must go on cruises sometimes. I think one of the best things is that it's like a small little experiment of how to live in the world. There's always plenty of food for everyone. Yeah, you know what I mean? Always. Yeah. And it makes you, reminds you that we're all in it together. Literally, we're all in it, that it's a life or death thing. And that whole mandatory life drill thing that you must do and that you must attend. I wish the world, we would do it on the outside. Like you'd have to step outside of your door, look at your neighbor and go, we're in this lifeboat together, right? That right. I got you, you got me. I think there's something that's really beautiful about that, I mean,
I agree with you. I've had some of the most important moments of my life on cruises, and the Jazz Cruise is probably one of my all-time favorite musical experiences. Every single time I go on it, and the friendships you develop with the passengers, the music lovers, and the fellow artists, and how everyone ups their games. Oh, there's Kari, my wife, and us hanging out after the show.
That was a great dinner. I remember that.
Oh yes, yeah, we dined well.
Yes, we have. And I'm grateful for every morsel. My thighs.
And yet you do every single kind of music on the Jazz Cruise that you've done in your life, except that Madonna doesn't come on the show.
Not at this point. You never know. Look, never say never. She might be she might have her own cruise. It might be, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord.
Oh, look at you.
Boobs sitting up. The girl sitting up.
They are. Did you ever name them? Okay, that's another story.
That's another story. Those are dangerous liaisons.
That'll be for the Martini Bar and the Jazz Cruise. So for those of you who are new to Niki Harris, where have you been? But Niki is the daughter of one of the great jazz pianists of the 20th century, Gene Harris, comes from jazz royalty, and you are such a natural. But I love the fact that you went to college and you didn't want to be a singer. You wanted to be a history maker. You wanted
to be a history maker. I like that.
But you ended up being a history maker.
History teacher. I wanted to be a history teacher.
Yes. And then life happened to you. So here you are, the daughter of Gene Harris, who's traveling the world with his own brand of soul and blues and jazz. And and if I grew up on Gene Harris, my dad was a huge Gene Harris fan. And so I love to see the you in him and the him in you. It's It's a beautiful thing. Look how handsome he is.
As I start aging, though, I really see my dad now. It's really funny. I have the same little vein that pops out in my head when I'm just like he did. Like, and when I'm starting to get sweaty, I sweat a lot like he did on stage. I don't know. I grew up on him too, literally. I grew up because of him.
There you are. Now, how old are you in that picture?
So that's about 1993. So that was like right after the Girly show.
Right.
Yeah, that was at maybe 92. That was down in California at Loa's in Santa Monica. There used to be a jazz club called Loa's. And went to go see him after coming off the road with Madonna. And it was a surprise for him. And I love walking into clubs and surprising him. We used to do that in New York. We'd be at, Giant Stadium, and then I'd take the car down to the Blue Note to go see him. We did it actually during the Blonde Ambition tour, and Madonna sent camera crew with us. And it's like, sorry, Dad.
Okay, so you dropped the M word. There's so many things to talk with you about, but how do you go from being the daughter of Gene Harris to working with Madonna? Now, I love the story that I've heard you tell about how you got the job. There's a very famous singer and group that you were working with. I don't know how you got the job, but tell us about the meaning of the Righteous Brothers for you in your life.
It's crazy. Okay, so I literally was not going to be a singer. I was going to sing a little bit just to make some money to get through college. And I was in Southern California, and the Righteous Brothers were opening this club called The Hop. They ended up opening a series of them. And I needed a job, and I knew that I could learn stuff really fast. And so I ended up getting the job and working with Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield. Bill Medley and Bobby Hatfield bought me my first car. And the promise, they did.
Wow.
And the promise was I'd stay in school and I could sing with them in the evening. So that was the thing I could do with them. So, and then in the summertime, I would go to like Vegas with them. And, I ended up doing like, amusement parks and stuff. But the main thing was I had to stay in school. Well, I was in Vegas and with them, and Bill Medley got a call from Freddie DeMann, who happened to be Michael Jackson and Madonna's manager at the time.
Oh, wow.
And he was looking for someone who could sing and dance and could learn material very, very quickly. And he told them, we have the girl you need. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, just get on the plane. You're going to get this gig. And I was like, I didn't even know who she was. I'm like, what?
So was she not famous yet, or you just didn't know who she was?
It wasn't on my radar.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, you must be my lucky star. That's not what I was doing in my.
That might have been working for your favor. I mean, like when Barbra Streisand met her soon-to-be husband, they didn't know each other's background at all. He didn't know her music. She never saw him on television, and they had the best time actually falling in love for each other. So I love that you met her not really having that Madonna thing,
No, and I think she was becoming a big star at that point. Right.
What year are we talking about?
86, 87?
86, yes.
And the reality is, like, music at that point, and kind of still is, was just work. It was, it was a check. And
now most people do other things so that they can do music, but you were doing music so you could do other things. That's very funny.
Well, seriously, when I got to California in early 1980, my dad was on the road, and my stepmom put me in an apartment with her sister, who was a grad student, classical pianist. And she had all these musicians who were fans of my dad. And they had a big welcome to California party for me. And I ended up meeting all these musicians. So we ended up singing around the piano that night. And they ended up saying, "Oh, you're a singer." I'm like, no, I'm going to school to be history. That's not what I'm doing. But I started getting called for gigs. Bottom line is, Bill Medley sends me to this audition. I fly from Vegas. Bobby Lyle, who was the musical conductor for Anita Baker, picks me up from the airport, takes me to the audition. He goes, go get that gig. I walk in, it's like 200 girls. But I don't, I'm still a little like, I have a job. It's not like I have to get this gig. To me,
I know there's desperation going on with you. Yeah.
No, I went up to her and I was like, I need to go first. I got a flight to catch.
Oh my goodness.
I can't be sitting around waiting through all this and and the good news
what
is
was
that
her reaction when you said that to her?
Do your thing. Do what you need to do. Because I was like, look, I've got a flight to catch. And if I can't get this gig, I need to get out of here because I got a show tonight in Vegas.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the good news is she let me do my thing. We sang, we danced.
What did you do in your audition?
I danced. I sang a bunch of, like La Isla Bonita. I sang Lift to Tell with her. We just really sang around the piano and stuff. And so the weird part was that this was wrong on Madonna because I knew I had the gig because I was in the back trying on the costumes and stuff while she was like, okay, we're going to go through the motions with these other girls. And she had them out there doing their thing. But I knew I had 1 week to learn 17 songs and 17 dance steps. And I had to be able to fit the costumes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, and wow.
Look at that costume. My goodness.
Yeah. Wow. That was we made Life magazine. Yeah, that was Life magazine. So yeah, it was a ride. It was a nice ride. And literally in the next hour, I was in the back of the limo with her. And I'm like, I can't leave Bill Medley. I can't just leave them, and she's calling Bill Medley on the phone. And I'm like, Bill, I'm so sorry. She says I'm going to stay. And he goes back on the phone and he goes, and he's like, what is she going to pay you? And I said, I don't know. I haven't even negotiated that part yet. And he goes, put her on the phone with me. And he goes, you need to stay there. He's like, that might be the gig you want. We can't pay you that. So, and, to this day, he's a dear friend and he's in Branson and he's, now his daughter's singing background for him there. And
I love him. I love his group and his writing. And yeah, what a wonderful, interesting introduction to music, all by sort of accident, but not at all. And coming from musical royalty and
almost everything has been an accident as far as musically. I mean,
right.
In my first year in junior college, I was literally going to labs, for my biology class. And the musical director, Dr. George Shaw, was having a concert with David Sanborn. And they needed some background singers. And he ran up to me, he's like, could you please come do this concert? And that's David Sanborn was technically my very first singing gig.
Wow. Talk about starting at the top. I mean, that's amazing.
It was crazy.
Now were you weren't intimidated by a Madonna. You weren't intimidated by Bill Medley. Were you intimidated by David Sanborn? I mean, were these just people you grew up with all these talented people and people are people? Or did you go, oh,
I didn't know.
Was there anyone that you said, oh my?
I'm from the hood. Everybody sings, right.
Yeah.
I was a dancer and a good gymnast. So I knew I had that little thing under my belt. And I could do those things.
That gives you a real edge. If you hadn't had that would,
it definitely helped with Madonna. It definitely helped with Madonna for sure to be able to really dance and be able to sing strong.
Yeah.
And I'm from a family of a lot of kids, and all of us used to sing together. We were, we were the Black Von Trapp family, for God's sake. We would sing everything. My mother, we had albums back when they had albums. Because I grew up when TV went off. And so we would, we would do all these Disney albums and, fairy tale. I remember doing Rapunzel and Oliver and, and this is how we entertained ourselves. So it wasn't because we wanted to be singers. It was just it was something to do that was safe and it kept the family together, and.
Yeah, I was that way as a kid too. I mean, it was just natural. I never knew I was talented. I knew my mom sang and played the piano, and then eventually she taught and sang and did a lot of things in her career. But I just thought music belonged to everybody, and it does. And so
Absolutely.
what
Absolutely.
a wonderful way to grow up, to have the beautiful richness of all the different kinds of music, that just like the range of music I got to hear too. I mean, was it at all at any point in your life you started to realize that, hey, singing, maybe I won't be a history teacher. I'm here on the road playing amphitheaters with Madonna.
Well, no, by then I knew I was going to be a singer. By then I
Right.
knew that was going to be happening. My first year, I tried to do one semester. I was supposed to go and help do some student, teacher's aid stuff. And it was in Long Beach, California with Franklin Junior High. Lord, I'll never forget it. And it was when Long Beach was starting to get into the Snoop kind of thing. It was like boom, 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 And I walked in, and all the kids were bigger than me, and it's like, I think I'm gonna be singing. I felt this is a little dangerous, and of course, I wanted to teach the one class that nobody wanted to go to,
Which was what?
History.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, no, it was not going to happen. So, and I knew I was getting more work, pursuing singing than I was trying to stay in school.
Right.
It didn't jive for me. It was kind of a no brainer in that I was really just paying bills at that point.
Yeah. So you too had a drive-by education.
I did. But, I think, and because I didn't consider myself a great singer, like my sister was a great singer. She was our Minnie Riperton, our Aretha Franklin. She was amazing.
Really?
She's 5'10". She was gorgeous. I looked up to her. She was the one. So I was the funny one. I was the one who could, I could dance. I could imitate Michael Jackson. I could imitate James Brown. I was the one, I was keep the party going. I could keep the party going.
Right.
She was the one who walked in the room and she was stunning. I was like,
well, I'm sorry, but I think you're pretty damn stunning, and you were an incredible singer. So, but that means
keeping you around.
Well, but I have a really talented sister too, so I know what that's like.
You do. OMG, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. Isn't she? Yeah.
Her voice is like butter, baby. Butter.
I know. Yeah.
But totally different from your voice.
Right.
Totally
I'm
different.
moonlight. She's sunlight. I'm cognac. She's champagne.
You're cognac, and I'm down with cognac. See, I'll take the saxophone over the flute any day. I mean, I'm sorry. I love you, Liz, but
before we get to another topic, I just wanted to hear your Michael Jackson imitation.
Wait. Okay. You and I must make a pact. I can't get it. It's up in the nose somewhere. It's like,
we must bring something.
It's up there. It's up. And you can't do that song. You got to do it. I didn't mean to do that song. It's
yeah, it can.
Right.
No, that's
right. Is that it? Is that it? That's a good one though.
No, but he didn't sing that.
He did do that.
He
Never
did do
can say goodbye. Even though the pain and heartache seem to follow me wherever I go. Though I try to hide my feelings, they always seem to show. Then you try and say you're leaving me, and I always let that they know. Tell me why is it so? But I can't say. That's up there, man.
Yeah. Woo!
Hey, that's up there.
So what's the most?
Sorry, I just had to see if I could still do it.
We got so many. One of the things I love about you, Niki, is that you are fearless in the realms of different kinds of music that you sing. And my favorite singers are Renaissance people. They're people who don't have to stick to one genre, and they sing what they feel, and they have various facets to them. And you go so easily from jazz to soul to R&B to pop to spiritual music. I mean, it's
keeping you. I'll pay you later. Jeez, that's good.
But where did, as you were suddenly this reluctant singer, how did your musical identity as a singer, not as a person who loved to sing, growing up with music and it's natural, but how did that evolve from being in, singing for hundreds of thousands of people with a superstar? And when you were with her, did you think, oh, I wish I were doing what she's doing? Did you have any notion that would be the path you'd want to take?
She and I had a lot of conversations over all those years.
Yeah.
And I I think that's really one of the best gifts that my dad ever gave me. I didn't even know to think that way. Like,
Right.
that, this next thing could lead to this, and this could lead to this. And I just remember watching my father play because he loved it. He played because it was his breath. He had to.
Right.
I
Oh,
didn't
look at
know.
that picture.
Crazy. I didn't know to be seeking some next step. Like everybody's got the idea of, your managers and that. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of the game, as it were.
Right. Yeah.
And remember, I feel so, so very, very blessed because I had most of my years with Madonna and most of my years, in pop music with no social media.
Oh, yes.
I never had to worry about post. I didn't post one picture with me and Madonna having dinner or in the bed, or, I didn't have to any of that kind of pressure to publicize all my goings on. So I got to be really present with her.
Wow. That's a profound thing you're saying. Yes.
And present in those moments. And I think my father taught me that because he did it because it was his breath. He didn't do it because it was leading to, I believe that. And let's put it this way. I choose to believe that, and my mother supported him because that was his breath.
Yeah.
It wasn't because it was going to make him famous or make them rich, or he was going to be on another television show or was going to lead. It was like, this is what we do.
Right.
And he did it because that's what God gave him to do. That was his mission.
Yeah.
And so
now
I only know how to operate like that.
Right. But that's very interesting what you just said about it was what God gave him to do and his mission. Is that how you feel about singing? Do you feel the sense of it as a godly gift that you've been, the source is with you when you sing? And because it certainly feels that way whenever I'm in your presence. Yes.
When I'm with you, when I hear you speak, when not even just the way you walk in this world is your mission to me. I feel that from you. I live through your poetry. I look at the paintings you put up. I'm telling you, Anne, you feed my soul. You minister to me on a regular basis, all the time. So I think that's what we're all called to do. It's just making the conscious choice to, I sing of the glory. I sing of the glory of a beautiful sunset. I sing of the glory of my child. I sing everything that I do. I pray that when you see me, you see who sent me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I feel blessed when I hear you sing. And it doesn't matter what kind of music you're singing. It could be anything. And I feel your spirit and your soul and your aliveness. And it's such a gift. And I love the fact, one of my pet peeves, I don't know about you, is I think that we live in a time that's so obsessed with persona and so obsessed with fame. And the value of persona and fame has apparently taken to such a higher level of importance than talent and experience and quality. And I just relish the fact that
I think we're paying a high price for that too. I think, spiritually, this world is, everything is not happening in a vacuum. The outpicturing of what fame has done. We choose our leaders because of fame now. As opposed to the quality of the person, we choose. And I have to admit, in pop music, when I started to watch singers come on board or dancers come on board or musicians come on board, and they all had their managers and they had their just had their agenda as opposed to just making good music. It started to really fall to the wayside for me. As far as my desire to be there, I felt like a foreigner, and it was really, really a blessing to be able to do other genres of music. So I felt very comfortable going into the spiritual side of music. I felt very comfortable going into the jazz side of music because I believed that I didn't have to walk in those kind of circles of people always having an agenda and positioning and jockeying for their time and the limelight and all that stuff. but because of this media and because everybody has a freaking camera in the hand, a lot of people are suffering from the damage, the psychological damage of having a camera in your hand all the time. That I see a lot of musicians and in those genres, including gospel music, and who are really more obsessed with the persona than the message of the music, or the need to make it about them, as opposed to, I'm here to sing with the glory. It's not about, I'm just a vehicle to show and to open your heart up. My light is to help you find your light.
Absolutely. Yes. I don't hear other singers talk about this. I don't know why it seems so rare, but that's one of the first things I loved about you was that you live that way. And because you live that way, it's like when people grow vegetables to sell to millions of people and they, force them to ripen in a certain way and look perfect. But meanwhile, when you eat the vegetable, it has no real flavor. When you pick an apple off of your tree, it has sweetness and juiciness. And it's alive. And that's,
I love that analogy. I love that.
And that to me is what is one of the many things that I love about you, Niki.
And I think I'm going to be a little bit of pushback in that I think a lot of people really do desire and have it within them. And they really do.
They're capable of it. Oh, absolutely.
And they actually really do think that way. But it's the fear that if I don't play this same game that everybody else is playing, I won't get mine, because we're in a society, and we've got some community agreement that we've said to attain is the ultimate goal.
Yes. Yeah.
To acquire is the ultimate goal.
Right.
As opposed to share, to give the gift. Give the gift. Just give the gift. And that was so great about walking a life with my father and watching him go, there's nothing promised from them. I sing. It's like what they say in church. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. I don't sing for any other reason. His eye is on the sparrow, so I know he watches me. I don't have to do any other performance but sing of the glory of just being here, because none of it is promised. And it's in moments like a pandemic where the audience is taken away on some level, that you still got to find the song. Yeah. You still have to not find the audience, find the song, and then you realize, I am the song. And that your smile is the song. Your eyes are the song. God had a good time making you, Anne. And so it's true, anything you do, because you understand, I'm just here to reflect the goodness, the greatness of what set me here. That's why anything you do is perfection. Every time it's perfection to me, And I think there's a lot of people out there who really desire to live that way, but they got managers, they got all these other things that have other agendas in who are saying things to them, or they've made an agreement, they've got a narrative in their head that this is what I'm supposed to do to get here, to this next thing, as opposed to just like let the flow happen. It's all.
But don't you think? Is it possible that the year we're spending right now is a time for us to, as challenging as it is, it seems like it's a time for everybody to kind of get real and go to that place and go to that place, because there's none of that flash and there's none of that, the excitement of our lives going on the road, seeing all the, hundreds or thousands of people we're singing for, and all of that chemistry and all of the professional.
Because this is really why we do it. A lot of times, this is why we do it. It's this. And so this has become likes and shares and posts. This, because we really want this. Like a child. It's like we're all stuck in the anal retentive stage. It's like, look, mommy, look what I did. Look what I did here in the potty. It's like, give me a hand clap. Sorry. On some level. But then you get to the point where it's like, you don't care about that. You shine because you have to. You really become a vehicle for the greater good. And a tree doesn't give shade, or the rose does not bloom because somebody is out there going, good job, rose, good job, tulip. No, you do it because this is what you came to do. And it's
Right.
like, that's why you don't just sing. You write poetry. You write songs. You find the beauty in art. You find the beauty in a sunset. You love animals. There's all different ways that you share and sing of the glory.
Right. And
You
experience the glory.
and experience the glory. Yeah, for sure.
And we are experiencing the glory in new ways and challenging ways. And I think that the intimacy that we're confronting ourselves with, in terms of, we don't get to see people that intimacy. I don't get to hug my mother-in-law. It's just like,
I don't get to hug my mama. I want my mama
it's
so bad. I want to hug her.
unbelievable.
She had COVID.
I haven't seen my sister in a year. Your mother survived COVID. Thank God.
I stood outside the window of the house I grew up in because I could not go inside and hug my mama.
Yeah.
For a week, I stood in the rain and just stood outside the window watching the nurse. First she was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Then she came home and we stood outside. My eldest sister, put on the hazmat suit and went in. She was like, I got to go in. But they were like, everybody can't come in. So we would just stand out there. And
did you ever sing to her?
Oh yeah, I sang outside the window. She would laugh. Finally, this is when I knew I could go home, is when I saw my mother. She was in her chair and she leaned over like, you still out there? Like that. And I was like, yeah, Mom, how you feeling today? She'd be, I think I'm gonna make it. I think I'm gonna make it. And finally, that feeling of like watching her laugh, she sat up and laughed, and I was like, she's gonna be all right. She beat it. Yeah. But you forget in this, check this out, high-tech, low-touch world we're in.
Oh, well said. High-tech, low-touch. Excellent. Yeah.
That we need to touch each other. Yeah. And that's what this pandemic has really, that we were suffering from a pandemic even before the pandemic hit. Right. That we were suffering from a low-touch world. Another zero back to the cruise. Yeah. That's why cruises are important, because you have to bump into people that didn't come on the cruise with you. You have to sometimes you have to sit next to people. Oh, who is this person? I don't know this person. It's good to do that. It's good to be around people that don't look like you, that don't necessarily pray like you, that, it's important to know that we really are our brother's keeper.
Yeah, it's like it's having the world in one place on these cruises. And then not only do we meet each other at breakfast and, without makeup, and we hang out and we tell stories and have surprise, delightful moments, as we walk out into the sun and feel the breeze and smell the salt air. But then it's absolutely extraordinary music. I mean, I don't know about you. When I go on the jazz cruise and I go hear you, or I hear Wycliffe Gordon, or I hear the big band, or I hear Shelley Berg, or, John Pizzarelli, or Tierney Sutton, or anybody, I just go, oh my God, how am I going to get up and sing? What am I going to do after that? And then you go, well, I better get it I better show up, and there we go. Hey, there's you.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's really, I had that kind of feeling for one cruise of like, how am I going to do this? And then I realized this is the other reason why I do love the jazz cruise so much, is because everyone's so supportive of each other.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Shelley Berg, he's like, I got you. Kim Poposky, like, I got you. It's like anytime you're like, John Clayton, oh my gosh. Every time he asks me to sing with the big band, I'm like, I can't do big band music. And he's like, we got you. You can do this. Yeah. And when it's like, it's such loving parenting. Yes. It is so, and it's so having a great community, which that's the other thing about this pandemic, is like we miss our community. Yes. Where we literally get to commune with each other.
Right. It's a huge loss.
And And we have to be careful. And that's why we need to do things like you and I are doing right now, is have a conversation, real conversations about this. Because I think there's a lot of people and a lot of artists out there in a lot of despair,
Oh, without a doubt. Absolutely.
I mean, not just financially and all that, but
Right.
seriously, because they need their community back.
Yeah.
And it's important to pick up that phone every now and then and call it, because you never know what somebody's really going through.
Do you know, I don't know about you, but I find I'm phone shy in some ways, and I feel a friend. I mean, I talk to my sister almost every day, or we touch base on some level. I'm really good at writing to people. But
that's beautiful.
But the moment I start talking to someone on the phone and we can actually, share all the nuances of, like, we've had some great FaceTimes, Kari and me and you. We've had some really serious soul
I think it's important. I think because
but you forget. You get so used to being withdrawn. It's like, oh, I have to be in. I have to be safe, and you protect yourself. And meanwhile, you're protecting yourself from joy.
Right. And you get so used to. Here's another one. We have gotten so used to people not telling the truth.
And getting away with it, and lots of people believing it.
A lot of people stop telling the truth. Like, how you doing today? I'm not doing so good. Like, I'm not feeling so good. I'm feeling kind of sad, actually. Can we do a FaceTime where we just be in the same room together, even if you're cooking in your kitchen? I just need to have some people in the house with me right now, or
Yeah.
And I don't think people are saying that. I think a lot of people are starting to do oh, I'm really busy. Oh yeah, I've been writing. Oh, I got a new record coming out. Oh yeah, I got another. So really? Oh really? Okay. I can't do the one-upmanship. It's like, sometimes you got to go, hey, I just need you. I just need to do this right here. I need this eye contact right here.
Yeah.
And I think people are really, because vulnerability has been turned into some sort of bad word. And it's one of the most courageous things you can do. And we know that as artists, that you have to be vulnerable to be a great artist. You have to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Who are some of the artists that you feel that they deliver that vulnerability, that are not afraid to be exactly the human being they are in that moment as they tell the stories of the songs? Who are some of the people through the years in various genres that come to mind, or just one person? I mean,
there's so many. Obviously young Aretha for me all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Shirley Horn.
Yes. Yeah.
Shirley Horn.
Shirley. Shirley Horn happens to be one of my all-time top 5 favorite singers.
And the great thing is, that's what, if anything, I said Aretha first, and then I said Shirley. Singers who sing completely differently,
right?
On total opposite ends of the spectrum. But for me, the vulnerability of her voice and the quietness of it, and the gentleness of her.
Yes.
And at the same time, holding your soul in her hand as she's singing that way. And she's like the female Miles Davis of voice. She understood using space and whereas Aretha's like riffs and screaming and it's like totally different thing. But I love them both, and they both feel. Look, I just finished watching A Night in Miami, and
what is that? I don't know it.
Oh, you must! It's like it's the famous night of Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali. After his fight, young Muhammad Ali, he was still Cassius Clay. He was about to turn into Muhammad Ali. Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. They meet in a hotel, and there was a famous night that they had a conversation. And this movie's based around that, by Regina King, great actress. She directed it. You should watch it. It's really, really great. But yes, Leslie Odom plays Sam Cooke.
Oh well, he's so incredible. Yeah.
And so I get turned on to Sam Cooke again. So I'm like, oh yeah, I love Sam Cooke. So I started, revisiting some of his music again, and once again, he's one of those people. I like a little bit of gospel and a little bit of soul and a little, I still love Ray. Ray Charles for me is like.
Me too. Yeah. He was the first person I ever saw live in a concert, and it was just beyond thrilling. I was 10 years old, and I was just like, I didn't know that life could be that until I saw his show and had watched his unbelievable soul. I mean, we'd listened to his records, but to see him live was just magnificent. I never got to see Aretha live. Did you ever see her live?
I saw Aretha live. I sang with Aretha on yeah. And Aretha was one of the first people. Yes. Aretha was one of the first people. I sang in a choir behind Aretha. Okay, it was like nine of us. It was like nine of us.
She had an angel in her choir. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, let me tell you. And she would not leave until we were paid.
Good for her.
She was like, find my money for my singers. Y'all done paid me. Pay my singers. Pay my singers. And literally, they had to go find. They were like, no, we'll send them checks through. After she's like, I get cash, they get cash.
Right. And she got cash in a paper bag, right? That's how she got.
I don't know how her cash came. I know how mine came was in an envelope. But I would have preferred it in a paper bag. I mean, that's a lot of cash. But yeah, I just think. I mean, I remember doing a session with Ray Charles with Aaron Zigman for his last record.
Wow.
And
what was that like?
I knew that he was very, very sick. But he's still so soulful that I listened to everything, and he was just, oh, you got it. And he let me do like 2 takes. I think it was like maybe 2 takes. And I was, because I was used to pop music where you clean everything. And he's like, does it feel good? If it feels good, leave it alone. What are you going to say?
Yeah,
no,
I
Mr.
like that
Charles,
philosophy.
I feel good in me. It's like, so, and I remember Aaron Zigman saying he loves it just the way it is. That's it. You don't need to do anymore. And I was like, really? You don't want to clean like this little scratchy there? And he's like, no. So,
and you know what? That's a lot about what jazz records, the best jazz records, you hear singers not sing the correct words. You hear weird notes, but they knew that was the best take because that was the take with a heart. It's usually one of the first takes, right?
And I'm telling you, he's one of those people who, even people watching people, because to me, every time you sing to me, it's so perfect. A lot of times I'm like, how is she doing that? Like the notes held to the absolute end. She's so good. It's so beautiful. And then I get up there and I sound like a pack of cools. I'm like, I'm like, how do you do this? But I really realized, 1, stop comparing yourself. 2, if it's honest, that's what it was in that moment. It's like a lovemaker, your lover, you're not going, could you come back in for seconds? That first take wasn't so good. It's like, no, I really meant what I did the first time. That's what it was.
Right. Yeah.
And I think watching singers like you, it makes me understand. And even having being privy to those sessions with Ray, I learned how to just trust.
That's a very important thing that you're saying there, because even the most famous singers in the world feel like imposters. I've heard so many interviews and talk about, I don't know if I'm really a singer. But isn't it interesting the amount of doubt that people have? And until you reach the trust, you can't get out all the feeling. You can't get out that full heart and soul of who you are.
And understanding
allowing it.
Right. Understanding what that word singer means to you, like redefining, because I've been around some really amazing, amazing singers who breath control, notes all over the place, but never really touch me in the spot, like, heart or in the special spot. Sometimes they do, and sometimes you find a singer that has all those things, and they know how to go deep inside of your heart and touch you in places that you didn't know existed. And half the time, those are singers who other singers are trying to sing like.
Right.
Those are the ones you try to aspire to because they have all those ingredients. Some singers have the finesse. Some singers have just the soul, but they're they haven't taken care of their bodies and they don't take care of their instrument. And so you just, it's finding what is real true storytelling for you. And as my dad said, at the end of the day, it's all lovemaking. What kind of lover do you want? Like,
exactly.
I like a little bit more weathered. I like my people a little bit more weathered. Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite children's stories is the Velveteen Rabbit, and it wouldn't become real until he was loved up, and his eye fell off, and his hair got all natty, and it's how life. Just like when you go to Italy and you see statues that have one arm and it's so weathered, and it's the beautiful duet of time and humanity that happens.
Right. The patina
in the life of an artist. Exactly. And in her voice. I know a lot of people, does this ever happen to you? Oh, I can't sing this note anymore. Oh, my voice isn't what it used to be. And meanwhile, I think, oh, I like your voice more now that you're more you. It may not
That's when you give them a Shirley Horn record immediately.
Yes, exactly.
You go, honey, stop it with the note. Stop it with all that. Because trust me, learn what the song is about, first of all. How about that? And
so you knew Shirley Horn. Tell us a little bit about your friendship with her. I mean, that's
no. I mean, my mom and dad were friends. I would not call myself. I would say that she saw me as little Niki. I was never, but I did do the Concord Jazz Festival with her, and my dad was playing for me, and so we had our dressing rooms next to each other, and I was like so excited, and I'm like, okay. Because she's friends with my dad, friends with my mom, not friends with me. I'm like, hello, Miss Horn. But I'm trying to well, I'm singing, I'm on this jazz festival, with Miss Horn. I'm going, Miss Horn, I was wondering, we're going to be leaving tomorrow, and I would love to just, chew the fat with you, have breakfast, and maybe we could get up early, have a cup of coffee. And she was like, girl, I don't do nothing early. I was like,
that's too funny.
I'm like, lunch? Lunch then? Yeah, it was hilarious. And it was fine. And so every time she would come to LA from then on, we'd always talk. And so I would always go see her. And that's actually a picture of her playing at the Roosevelt Hotel.
Oh, the Hollywood Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now you sang there, right? Yeah. What kind of?
I did jazz there.
So after Madonna, you left and you did the Truth or Dare movie. You had a lot of serious. 18 years you were on the road with her, right?
Mm-hmm. And then I did two more years of I got pregnant, and she did the baby shower with me. I did a video for her when she was pregnant. So that was, that led into the 20 years of that I didn't do the next tour because I got pregnant and I had a baby.
Right.
I was like, and I call my last tour with Madonna my Muhammad Ali farewell tour because I had broke, have you ever seen that footage of Muhammad Ali when, it's like his last fights and it's like he clearly should not be fighting anymore. And he's like doing all the rope. He's doing the rope-a-dope. Or for anybody who are boxing fans and you're like, he's got a little bit of the rolls on the side. And it's like, maybe he shouldn't be fighting anymore. Well, I had broken my legs, a couple of years before. Wheelchair, the whole bit. And I was in special shoes, and I was still had to have my leg wrapped every night before the show. And it got to the point where I was just like, just get me through these. This is back when she was really into yoga, and she was doing these deep knee bends every night. And I was like, music makes the people. And I'm like, God damn it, this is fucking hard. And it's that feeling like you can be 40 and look like you're 24 until a real 24-year-old comes in the room. Right. Yeah. Right. And if you're injured at 40 and trying to do it, it's like, finally, it's like, and by then, after I got through that, it's like, I think it's going to be a pretty gown and a stool for me right now, baby. It's gonna be. When she gets to the here I come. Yes. Yeah, and like when she wants to sit down and sing some pretty songs, I'll be there for her. But all that jumping around and trying to act like I'm 23, I just couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, but that gave you the opportunity to become a mother, and it gave you the opportunity to sing your music and step into the spotlight. And really discover and share with the world who you were, as an artist at a deeper level, don't you think? Or It gave me, well, I always say, I see my life from both sides now. It got, those years really let me know the pros and cons of pop stardom.
Yeah.
And that I had no desire to chase that. I knew that much for sure. And like I said,
what was the main reason that you thought it was not good for you?
I don't do bubble living. I don't want to do bubble living.
Uh-huh.
And I still, there's a wonderful philosopher, Krishnamurti.
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, and his one of his sayings is, "It is no sign of good health to be indoctrinated into a sick society."
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
It is no sign of health. And I felt so much of what was going on in the pop world and in the pop music business was quite unhealthy. It was unhealthy for me, at least. It didn't feel like and that's why it was easy for me to move into spiritual. And I went to India the following year,
Oh, I
stayed
didn't
there.
know that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I traveled to India. I went to Africa. I, study with Arun Gandhi, who's Mahatma Gandhi's grandson.
Are you kidding?
Mhm,
Wow. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, actually, I was in India when my dad passed.
Oh.
I had to fly from New Delhi. Yeah, and I had some.
And he was only 66 years old. I really hurt for you. I mean, that's such an early loss. Yeah.
Really.
So you were in India. Was that helpful to be in India, or was that horrible that you couldn't be with your dad?
I mean, I knew he was ill, but I didn't know he was that ill that he would have been gone. But I think being in India and the priests and the monks came down and did a whole ceremony to him on the Ganges, and they put prayers out, with a little fire and in early in the morning. Yeah. It was such a beautiful ceremony. And Reverend Michael Beckwith from The Secret, who wrote the movie The Secret.
Oh, it's a beautiful book. Yeah.
And he's also has a Agape International Center of Truth in Los Angeles. He was there. He was actually the one who came in my room and said, "Your father's made his transition."
Wow.
And it was
interesting to have him relay that information to you.
Yeah, and I think the greater powers that be knew that that's what I needed to hear. Mm-hmm. And I walked. We were in New Delhi at that point, and we were heading to Varanasi, which is where all the Druid statues are. I'll show you the pictures. It's amazing. Anyway, and I was a mess, like crying my eyes out. And a woman came up to me, and she was like, "We heard in the hotel, I can't do the accent. We heard in the hotel that your father passed. You come to my village. We celebrate." And I'm like, "What?" And I was just like, tears flowing. I'll just show you all these pictures.
Wow.
And I got to the village, and literally, I remember them telling, "Don't drink the water because you're going to get sick." But all these Indian children gathered around me. They painted my feet with henna and put rings and they're like, "No, when someone goes to the other side, we celebrate them." So they did this whole dance to my father. They made all these teas for him. And I sat, and I never got sick. It was like amazing. And they were giving all that they had. And trust me, because we live such a privileged life here.
Yeah.
To go into a village in India, especially in Varanasi too, I'd never seen poverty, and I'm from the ghetto. I'd never seen poverty like that, or what we thought was poverty. But I also have never seen such richness, so much wealth, and I felt so much better being there and watching them say the prayers to my father. They didn't know my daddy.
The spiritual wealth that they possessed.
Yes.
Was so beautiful. What a beautiful way to honor his passing and to help.
So by the time I got back to America, I was good.
Wow.
By the time I got to his funeral and stuff, I was good.
My dad died of a heart attack the day that I told him to go to the hospital and get his heart checked, and he didn't do it. And I was just, and to this day, I still haven't really gotten over it. But I remember when he was, I practice Siddha Yoga, and I have an Indian guru. I was reciting the Guru Gita as he was being cremated, and I was saying the sacred words of this beautiful chant.
In Sanskrit?
Just like yes, in Sanskrit. And I started imagining that the Guru Baba Muktananda and my dad were like hanging out, going, "Yeah, this is really cool." And I just can't believe that you had that kind of experience, and I had it in my own way. This is just such a funny surprise.
I think that's why we met. I think we met on that kind of spiritual level too. I think that's one of the things that really we started having these kind of conversations.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and knowing that you watched me walk through several things, but knowing how to pull each other back, and that there's an anchor that holds us all,
right?
No matter what you call it, you know, whatever you want to call it. There's something that's really strengthening from the inside.
Yes,
knowing that. So there's a song that, you know, it's like, what? How could I feel discouraged? You know. How could the shadows come? You know, because it's like spirit is my portion. My constant friend is he. His eye is on a sparrow, so I know he watches me. So I don't feel discouraged, even in those moments when I want to. It's like I walked with you, Anne, through some times in my life when I had to love, when it was hard to love. When I had to forgive, when it's hard to forgive. And that's what all the master teachers are teaching us. The gurus, it's like, that's what we're here to do. It's love, even when it's hard to love. I mean, if anything, that's what times like what we're going through right now, when everyone seems to be so divided. It's like, that's nothing but the universe saying, oh no, you have to love even more now. You have to do it even stronger now.
Yeah.
History has proven that. History has proven that. That's our call. That's our mandate.
Right.
It's like don't get more mad. You get more loving. You get more kind. You get more. You dig in deeper to forgiveness.
Thank you for saying that, Niki. Thank you so much. Will you go on the evening news and say this, please? See, this is the stuff. This is what we think as a culture right now. We listen to the news, and the news is we listen to this much of what's happening.
It's not the news; it's the olds.
But what you're talking about is the news, and it's the real news, and no one's talking about it on television. They're singing it. You're singing it. I'm trying to sing it. I'm trying to write it, but it's so interesting that what is most important is not being discussed.
And we have to find it. You have to find your kind. You have to find your tribe out there, because you definitely can't watch corporate news, because that's about profit. That's just a dog and pony burlesque show. You know, it's like, it's not about the news. It's about the old. They tell the same old story over and over, and it's the olds. It's nothing new about that.
Saying it,
nothing new about it at all.
Yeah.
And we have to just recognize when we starting to get hypnotized, and
we don't always. I mean, that's the problem. No. Hypnosis is you become under the spell of something, and we don't even realize it.
I know.
And I think social media can have that effect on us, as much as we try to negotiate it in a loving, responsible, intelligent, human way. I mean, I really am grateful this time to be able to stay in touch with people, and I've cultivated such beautiful friendships with it. But on the other hand, there's the, how many likes in that whole other world that you talked about earlier. But I
have to stay conscious of it, because I have a 17-year-old, who is challenged in many ways, but came here in her own way and wired in her own way. So I know this thing right here can be a beast for her, or it can be a beautiful library for her.
Right. Yes.
And it's just me helping her navigate it as I learn how to navigate it, and what's good for me, and not feeling the pressure to live somebody else's narrative. Because I have more people like, how you should be on more. You should be on Twitter. You should be. How come you're not on? How come you're not posting to Instagram? And how come? Because I'm just trying to be able to return a phone call sometimes. And be present. I'm trying to be present.
You're busy being present. You're busy living. Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm just taking a nap. Sometimes I'm just taking a nap and
I am
being
jealous. I am jealous.
and being okay with that, because there were so many years where I forgot to. There were so many times when I, or I did things that were absolutely beautiful and wonderful, but I was in my head that I missed them. I missed them. I have been to every continent in this world. I have been on every single continent in this world, and some of it I forgot because it was so much. It was too much. I'm the black girl from the ghetto. I can't take all this in. I mean, that's the truth about the matter. And I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the tools to slow myself down and just breathe it in and go, that works for me. Okay, that doesn't work for me. No, don't want none of that. Yeah, I want some of that, but no, I don't need that. And my girlfriend wrote a song. It's like, take the best of what I've learned, give thanks, and press on. And just press on, because there's so much that came in all of our lives. And that's what I'm trying to teach my daughter. It's like, look, baby, some of the stuff I'm going to teach you or that you're learning from me, it might not all work. Just like take the best of it, give thanks that I was here for a while, and then press on and fly. I'm just here to teach you to fly, and help you get your wings. But where you fly is that's not my job. I want you to fly.
Right. You have to let the bird go free. How has being a mother affected your music? What do you sing about different things, or how has music taught you how to be a mother, and has being a mother taught you things about music? Do you have more new things to say, or do you look at songs to sing?
I don't know. Motherhood has just taught me about how much I don't know. So I guess musically, every day I just go, God, I have still so much to learn. I have so, and that's a good thing. I guess that's, more opportunity to read another book, to, to be still, to try to practice the piano. I'm horrible. I suck. Trying to learn. I do. I mean, it is what it is, but don't want, okay. Somebody's talking to us.
We've hit the hour mark, but we're going to go a little extra over it because
I'm sorry.
Yes, we can. No, don't apologize.
Yeah, I mean, how's it affected me musically? My daughter listens to Korean K-pop, and she listens to classical music. She listens to nothing but I did catch her listening to John Coltrane the other day.
Oh, really? Wow.
But I don't think she knew it was John Coltrane, but yeah.
Well, maybe that's okay. Maybe she should just experience the music. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm open to all kinds of music as far as what she listens to. And I'm open. I'm in the South right now, so I'm really kind of checking out like Appalachian old songs. I'm really into the Chocolate Drops right now.
Oh, wow. I don't know them. I'll check
it out. Check it out. Yeah, it's really, really cool stuff. Just very, very Americana. It's very Americana, but more Appalachian kind of harmonies. And I'm really trying to learn. I'm with my little group of friends that can come around because of COVID. We're trying to learn how to grow stuff. It's not even music based. Our music right now is just really trying to feed people, trying to grow food and
good.
Make sure that people are eating. Yeah. Because it's tough right now for a lot of people down here.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable, and those stories aren't being told enough. I don't know why they're not being told enough, but yes, there's a lot of serious needs going on, and people are just trying to rise up and fulfill them in any way they can. So growing food, whether it's
we're trying to plant stuff. We're trying to grow some lettuce, grow some kale. And, I literally have, if I turn my camera, I have like 6 food boxes that I've been passing out to people, some oranges, some cabbage, some onions, some milk, and some cheese, and some, and I'm learning how to make amazing borscht from my dear Bulgarian fake grandmother who brought some borscht to me today. Yeah, she's great. She's
Wonderful.
great. Baba Rossi from Bulgaria. So I'm learning how to make
Fantastic.
borscht.
And I love
Yeah,
Bulgarian music. That's great.
yeah. And my girl, we're learning how to make sauerkraut.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah. I'm down here in the belly of the yes, Rihanna Giddens. That's Rihanna Giddens. She's from us. I just got a message from
Really?
Merger. Lee, yes. Rihanna is amazing from the Chocolate Drops. You should check it out. You'll love her. You'll love her.
I will.
You'll love her.
I will.
You'll love her. And my other band that I love, Dirty Loops. If nobody's heard of them, check them out. Dirty Loops. Bad, great music, great singer. You'll love it. Those are my new young folks I love.
Niki, I want to say, because I know we have to wrap this up. I can't wait to see you again, and I can't wait for the jazz cruise when we can be together.
When will I see you again? When will I see you again? Okay.
I don't know, but what are you looking forward most to going back into live performance? What are some of the hopes that you have for the future in terms of where you're going to take your music?
I just want I want to keep singing to the glory. Whatever genre that is. I just want to make sure that when people listen to me, that their hearts are open, that every song I sing alleviates a little suffering in any way possible. That I'm kinder, and that when people leave from hearing me, or that their hearts are bigger, and that they're kinder to people who don't look like them, or that they try something different, that they step into new territories that they probably wouldn't have because they trust that the world is a kind place.
Well, amen. What beautiful things that you already do. I mean, just you being you every day, that's who you are. And and every day will be a fresh new version of that,
I hope so.
The weather is however you feel.
Yeah. I think I'm so grateful for you, Anne. I'm so, so grateful for you. And I'm grateful for, this jazz cruise that brought us together. But
Yes.
even more than I'm grateful that we were aware enough to go, we need each other.
Yeah.
And that you pick up the phone, and that Kari picks up, that we make sure that we keep our hearts connected even beyond this. And
right.
that's what we hope for the world. We hope just to pass that on and pass that on.
And before I say goodnight, I also want to tell people that you sang your ass off on my upcoming single, Hold You in This Song.
I did sing my ass off on that one, honey.
I just heard the master of it today, the new master of it. And you just rock my world. I just wait for those notes, and I just think, and we might have to do a little more recording together, because when you have this connection emotionally, yeah.
And for all the things going wrong, put some light in this night. Yeah. That's a great song. That's a great song, Anne. You write a hit every time.
I can't wait for people to hear you sing on this. It's just so beautiful. Thank you so much for talking and telling your secrets today. And just for our viewers, thank you for being a part of this wonderful jazz cruise conversation series. And I hope that we had all these wonderful videos to show you and other topics we were going to touch on, but it just took its own beautiful life. So when you can,
we'll do a take two some other time.
Maybe but I want you to listen to Niki's beautiful records and hear her on YouTube and see her live. This is one of the great artists of our time. And I'm just thrilled to call you my friend. And I wish you health, happiness to you and your beautiful daughter. And we'll see you soon, my love.
And I'm thankful to call you my sister. So there.
Thank you so much, everybody, and God bless everyone. Thanks a lot. Stay safe out there, and take good care of yourselves, and keep the music alive.
Wear a mask.
Yes.
Love you, babe.
Love you too.
Bye.
Thanks, Niki. Bye.